In our previous tutorial, we learnt about the structure of the human heart. This tutorial introduces you to the working of the human heart. If you like what you see on our channel, please like, subscribe and turn on notifications. In reality, both the right and the left side of the heart work together at the same time. But for ease of understanding, let us look at each side separately, since each side of the heart has a different function. Note that in reality, oxygenated blood is bright red and deoxygenated blood is dark red. Here, for ease of presentation, we represent deoxygenated blood as blue and oxygenated blood as red. So, let us start with the right side of the heart, which carries deoxygenated blood. The pumping cycle begins when the deoxygenated blood is brought from the upper parts of the body through the superior vena cava and from the lower parts of the body through the inferior vena cava and is poured into the right atrium. The atria contracts, opening the tricuspid valve. The blood from the right atrium passes into the right ventricle. At this time, the right atria relaxes and the right ventricle is filled with blood. The blood from the right ventricle tends to return to the atria, but the flaps of the valves get tightened, thus closing the tricuspid valve and preventing the flowing back of the blood. Now here, the chordae tendineae hold the flaps of the valve in position and prevent their overturning into the right atrium. The right ventricle contracts, forcing the pulmonary valve to open, and the ventricular blood is pumped into the pulmonary artery and onwards into the lungs. The pulmonary valve closes to prevent blood from flowing back into the right ventricle. In the lungs, exchange of gases take place. That is, oxygen from the alveoli enters into the blood and carbon dioxide from the blood is given to the alveoli. Thus, here the blood gets oxygenated. Oxygen-rich blood from the lungs returns via the pulmonary veins into the left atrium of the heart. As the left atrium is filled with blood, it contracts, opening the bicuspid or mitral valve. The blood from the left atrium is pumped into the left ventricle. At this time, the left atrium relaxes and the left ventricle is filled with blood. The blood from the left ventricle tends to return to the left atria, but the flaps of the valves get tightened, thus closing the bicuspid valve and preventing the flowing back of the blood. The chordae tendineae hold the flaps of the valves in position and prevent their overturning into the left atria. Now the left ventricle contracts, forcing the aortic valve to open, allowing blood to be pumped into the aorta, which takes the blood to different parts of the body. The aortic valve quickly closes to prevent blood from flowing back into the heart, and the left ventricle relaxes, ready to take the next intake of blood. This completes the cardiac cycle. Now let us recap and follow the path of the blood through the heart. Both the right and left atria receive blood from the superior and inferior vena cava and the pulmonary veins. Then the atria contract, opening the tricuspid and bicuspid valves, and the blood is pumped into the right and left ventricles. Now both the ventricles contract, closing the tricuspid and bicuspid valve and opening the pulmonary and aortic valves. From here, the blood is pumped through the pulmonary artery into the lungs and through the aorta to the different parts of the body. Do you know the blood circulation in the human body is called double circulation? This is because the blood flows twice through the heart before it completes one full round. It has two separate circuits or circulation. The short pulmonary circulation, where the blood vessels take the blood to the lungs and back to the heart, and the long systemic circulation, where the blood vessels take the blood to the rest of the body and back to the heart. We have now understood the working of the heart, but the heart couldn't do its job without blood vessels. Stay tuned as we journey with the blood through the blood vessels in our next tutorial.